Now, real people, real opinions. Nighttime Talk.
Ireland's classic hits radio.
We're going to talk Christmas. Oh yeah, you'd know it's nearly Christmas, especially by the amount of messages we're getting in about Christmas presents. One of our listeners asked how much is too much to spend on kids' presents. The cost is getting out of control and we won't be able to meet the demand. Another has said, my 10-year-old son wants a PlayStation for Christmas. I just can't afford it. How are others managing to get their kids everything they want? And then on the other end of the scale, another texter says, relating to Christmas presents for kids, I set a budget of €1,000 per kid and I have 3 of them. The husband is going mental and won't let me get them everything I want to get for them. What do your listeners think? So what do you think? Are we spending too much on kids at Christmas? Are you worried about how you'll afford everything this year? We want to know, so get in touch on WhatsApp 087 188 0008. You can also get involved on social media on X at Classic Hits Radio or Classic Hits Radio on Facebook. But before I get to your calls, we got a very good voice note in from one of our listeners, Kat, and I'll let her explain this herself.
Hi guys, as regards the Christmas presents, I think it's absolutely ridiculous the way people spend so much money for one day. My son, so I've got 2 boys, a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old, so the 8-year-old, it'll be 9 on the 21st of December, so obviously we have to buy him a birthday present. And then on Christmas Day, you should see his list. He wants a Nintendo Switch, he wants an iPad, and he wants Home Alone Lego, which is nearly $1,000 for the 3 of them. Then he wants Billy the Big Bear. The Big Bear is €80. He's absolutely humongous. He's absolutely a total dust collector. He wants Pokemon plushies. He wants jellyfish lamps. He wants a bowling set. It comes to around 1,500. So I got him the jellyfish lamp on Temu. I think it was €10. And then for the little Nintendo Switch, I bought him a Game Boy on Temu, which was €8.15. And then I bought him a slushie maker, and I bought him teddy bear, a small little teddy bear, and I bought him books and things like that, but practical stuff. Like I'd say I'd probably spend around 150 on his Christmas present, and then my other son 150 on him as well. It's absolutely ridiculous, because if he got all that, he'd appreciate nothing. For his birthday, we got him something around €30, and you know what? He'll be just as happy with that as he will be with something that's €1,000. So I think it's absolutely crazy spending that much money on presents that they'll probably discard after a few days. And I don't agree with buying iPads for kids anyway, because I think you can just spend all their time on them and then not going out and socialising with other people. All right, bye.
All right, there you go. That's Kat's experience, and also the list that she was provided with from her children. We put it up on our social media, so do go and check it out, and I'm sure a lot of you will be able to empathise with what she's dealing with at the moment, because there's no doubt about it, Christmas is getting more and more expensive each and every year. So we want to take your calls on this. Are we spending too much on our kids at Christmas? What do you think, Sean?
How you doing, Gary? How are you?
Good evening to you.
Not too bad, Gary. Here's the thing, Gary. It's gone commercial, we all know that. But we have asshole parents out there, and it is the fact. I've seen them day in, day out, week in, week out, that they treat their kids there as if, nothing's happened here. Like, there's no, how would I call it? A recession. Because there is a recession here in Ireland. It's a secret recession that, the petrol prices went up, the fuel prices went up, everything has went up.
Well, inflation is out of control, Sean. There's no doubt about it. Things are still expensive.
Absolutely.
They went up a couple of years ago and they didn't come back down.
Yes. Now, here we have Christmas. And, like every other Christmas, they go out and they spend their asses on money that doesn't need to be spent. It's absolutely shocking. I don't know what they're at.
Well, a lot of parents would say, Sean, in their defence, they would say they have to. It's not that they have a choice. I mean, the kids are wanting these things at Christmas and all the other kids are getting them, so there's an awful lot of pressure.
The biggest bullshit, Gary, that I've ever heard in my life, that they have to. They don't have to, Gary. They don't. You know, I've always spent in my means at Christmas on my kids. I spent what I could afford. I buy my kids what I can afford, and that will always be the way. And it was every way, every year, from the kids all the way up to what they are today. You know, it's just the overspend, I don't get it. I really never got it, Gary.
But when they were small, Sean, did they come to you and tell you what they wanted?
Don't get me wrong, Gary, right? They did. They made a Christmas wish list.
Yeah.
And, some stuff there that wouldn't, it couldn't be done. Some stuff that could be done, Again, Gary, I always done it within my means and with my partner's means and what we done and what we could able to be affording.
I hear you, Sean, and it was similar in my house as well. I'm just curious to find out from you what you told them when they asked for something that they couldn't get.
I didn't tell them anything. If they wanted what they wanted on the list, I never told them anything. They got what they got on the Christmas day, Gary. That's what happened.
And were they ever disappointed?
No, sorry?
Were they ever disappointed they didn't get the big ticket item they were looking for?
Never were they disappointed. Never once were they disappointed. I'm not one of these that will go out and get Xboxes and PlayStations and this, that, No, don't get me wrong. I got them. 1 year I got them PlayStation 3 because I could afford it. And I was delighted with it. Don't get me wrong. But, and in them years after that, they asked for this and they asked for that. I could do what I could do in my means and my partner's means. Now, there was a few stuff left off the list because I couldn't afford it. And, we couldn't do it. And it was the fact of the matter that it was out of our control, Gary. But they were always happy at Christmas. So, yeah.
Listen, Sean, I appreciate you saying that because, I think the fear is what's there for parents. It's they want to give everything to their kids, everything that they ask for.
I think parents are assholes these days that they're spoiling their kids, Gary, and to go out and they do spoil the kids. I can see that. They, year in, year out, that they go above and beyond, and it's ridiculous what they do. Kids will be happy, nevertheless, what you get them. But, it's absolutely ridiculous, Gary, what they do these days. They're buying them quad bikes and they're buying them this and that. They're all like fucking idiots. These are idiots.
And some people, Sean, go into debt at Christmas. They borrow money.
I see that, Gary. I do, Gary. They're getting credit union loans and this, that, and the other, and it's absolutely disgusting, Gary. The amount that the kids get, I've seen it, and it's disgusting, Gary.
When do you think this started, Sean? The Christmas is getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Sorry, Gary?
When do you think this habit started of buying huge presents for kids at Christmas?
It's just idiotism, Gary, by the parents, that they have to outdo the other parents, and you see it all over Facebook and TikTok and everything else. Oh, look at what I got my child and what I got my child and what I got my child. You see, it's all a competition, Gary.
Yeah, I think social media plays a part in it for sure. Absolutely.
Absolutely, Gary. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it, because every, Christmas, I see it with friends, even friends of mine, that outdoing each other every year. Oh, look what I done, and look what I done, and look what I done. And I tell you what, absolute idiots. They're idiots, Gary.
Yeah, I think back to the 80s when I was a kid, and nobody had much back then, but my mum did her best, and it's funny, I always think back to my favourite Christmas, and it was a Christmas I got a desk, of all things. And I'm not even mad into desks or anything, but I remember getting this little desk, and it was a simple thing, but it was my desk and I could sit at it. But that was pretty much all I got. A few little things on the side and a stocking filled with whatever. Nothing on the scale of what kids are getting nowadays.
Not at all. The kids, do you know what it is, Gary? They're spoiled brats. That's where it is. And the parents are, spoiling the spoiled brats because they get what they want.
Okay, Sean.
They want the PlayStation 5s. They want, and they get
Okay, stay there with me. I've got Susan on line too. Susan, do you think we're spending too much on our kids at Christmas?
I think it's scandalous. I have 5 kids.
5 kids? Wow.
5 kids. They age from the range of 9 all the way up to 27. And when we were kids, we were allowed to ask Santa for a big thing and a little kid thing. And my kids are always been allowed to ask Santa for a big thing and a little thing. And a big thing doesn't necessarily mean the price. It may mean the size. So the big thing could be actually 30 quid. And the little thing could be something then for 100 quid, whatever. I don't put a price on it.
Yeah.
But just because they ask for it, and I just say, just because you ask, doesn't mean that's what you're going to get. And my kids know that I pay Santa money because Santa isn't rich and he can't afford to buy these things for all the kids all over the world. So I give Santa the money. So if somebody says, I want, I have a 9-year-old that was like, I'm getting an iPad. And I was like, no, you're not. You don't need an iPad. And she's just not getting one. So what we did come to the agreement of, I brought them up to Smith and I let them have a look around. It's like, the only way I can describe it is like, it's a Game Boy. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a handheld thing. And I was like, oh, look at that, and if you got one each, you could swap the games on them or something. And the two of them were like, oh my God, yeah, because the other youngest one is 12. So they thought these were absolutely brilliant. I don't do iPads because they're kids. And I just refuse to let them go there. When they get into secondary school now, they have to have the iPads for school. So they'll get their technology then. And parents that buy phones for their 7-year-olds, an iPhone. Like, what planet are you on? And I'm going to tell you who buys these things, right? And I know this for a fact because I see it all the time. It's people that didn't have much when they were kids try to make up for everything they didn't get. Because I know a lot of wealthy people, and they don't spend half the money that people that wouldn't have had it as a kid do. My own husband used to try and spoil my son because he didn't have money when he was a kid. And I say, he's not you. You can't do that to him. And he spoiled him rotten. And we had hell with a 17-year-old because my husband went to book that. I didn't spoil the girls. I have 4 girls. I didn't spoil them because I wasn't spoiled as a kid. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to make that mistake. And the girls are very appreciative. Now my son is 24 now, and he's come around. He's realised that my husband would tell you himself he made the mistake of spoiling him because he wouldn't listen to me. Oh no, I didn't have this when I was a kid. I always wanted this. I always wanted this. We were a happy medium kids. We got what we got, and that was it. But I do not spoil the kids at Christmas because it is not fair doing that to your child. You're turning your child into an asshole.
Yeah, no, you made a couple of good points there, Susan, because I was thinking to myself, I had a few friends growing up and they were from wealthy families. And they didn't get very much at Christmas at all. It was like a jacket or, there wasn't, big bags of presents going around the house and everything. But in terms of today's society, you see it all the time, don't you? On Christmas night, you open up your Facebook or your Instagram and there's kids everywhere with things like you just mentioned, iPads and phones and bicycles.
And again, it's the ones that didn't have it when they grew up. They're the ones that put the big picture up. The big display of a couch full of stuff, which is absolutely ridiculous. And you're not going to have one Christmas. You have your child forever for Christmas. So you don't need to buy everything for that one Christmas. Next year you can buy that the big thing they want. They don't need to have everything. These people that get themselves into debt, it's ridiculous. If my kids, between September and October or December, if my kids need something, Santa brings it. He'll put ballet shoes into their sock. They get lovely colourful toothbrushes that they think are absolutely cool. They get socks and slipper socks and pants and pyjamas, and my kids love all this stuff. They think absolutely brilliant. They're absolutely thrilled. Even the older ones now are thrilled when they get bits that they need because they don't have to spend and buy all these things. Now I'm not saying one of them is dying for a pair of Ugg boots, so that's what her present is going to be off Santa. And within that, she'll get a couple of pairs of pyjamas, slipper socks, and a selection box. She's 22. So that's where I'm going with this. You don't need to spoil it. And people that put it on Facebook, it's so sad and it's so cringy. You don't need to put it up. You don't need to show people what you're getting your kids because it's nobody's business what you get your kids, only your business. So stop posting it for everyone to see. When I see it, I cringe and I think, oh my God, I'm absolutely mortified for that person. And most people are thinking that too when you're putting that big thing up. Nothing goes up on my Facebook of, oh my God, what you might get in the morning is a happy child holding their Monster High doll or someone playing with the card game that they got. And the kids will tell you from the time we were kids, it's the simplest things that make them happy. It'll be the something cheap that you bought that you wouldn't think anything of, and that's what actually made them the happiest. My husband bought my daughter a safe last year because she was dying for a safe to put her money in. A black safe, not fancy, didn't make music, didn't make sounds, and that safe, she will tell you, was the best thing she got off Santi, and we could stop laughing because it was ridiculously cheap and stupid.
It sounds like me on my desk, Susan.
I swear to God, that's the thing. Kids remember the little things, and even to this year, if you say to her, what was the best thing you ever got? Oh, I love my safe.
Do you think you have a lot of experience, obviously, with your kids, and you sound like a really good mother? Do you think by managing the expectations of your children that you're doing them a favour? Because the real world doesn't work like that. You don't wake up one morning and everything is right in front of you.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Your kids have to learn the word no. And so many kids don't know and understand that word. They don't hear it from their parents. And when they grow up and the big bad world says no, they can't cope. They actually cannot cope. So telling your child no is not being mean. It's preparing them for the world. And you're not saying no, never. You're just saying no, not right now. Like, can I get this? No, I don't have them. And my kids actually think I'm poor. Every time I go into the shop, and they're like, oh my God, I'd love this. And I go, yeah, I don't have any money. And I know they go into school and say, my mummy's no money. And my sisters laugh. They think it's absolutely hilarious. I'd say I'd rather they think that I'm poor because I don't have all this money to splash out on them. Because when kids think you have loads of money, they're going to think, you know what, you have money, you can buy all these things for me. So I let them know money is hard to come by and you have to work for it. And when you have your money, you don't waste it. You buy things that you need and you mind your money. As my granny used to say, look after the pennies, the pounds will look after themselves. And you have to teach your kids that. You're preparing them for real adult life. And by giving them everything they want, you are doing them no favours.
And do you take that approach, Susan, with everyone in the family? Like when you're swapping gifts with your cousins or your uncles or your aunties or whoever, sisters, brothers, do you all have this agreement? Is this the kind of culture that's in your immediate family?
I have one sister who buys above and beyond for the kids. Really, like, tries
different
to
to
make
you.
up for something with them. Very different to me. I have another sister who's a really wealthy girl, and she's very like me. And I'm not wealthy. This particular sister is very wealthy, but she's like, no, I'm not spoiling them. They're going to get what we got when we were kids, and that's it, and everyone's happy. Where the other girl, I just feel sorry for her because she goes above and beyond, and it's even my mother used to say, oh, she's ridiculous. I don't know why she goes above and beyond. And as a result, her kids aren't as grateful. And it's very obvious they're not as grateful because they're so spoiled.
Well, I've seen it myself. I've seen skips.
Bad.
I've seen skips in January full of things that were just thrown out, not used.
I'm going to tell you as well this, right? So I teach and I work with kids. I have a particular child that never heard no, always had a happy life. And the first time in her life, one thing went wrong for her. That child couldn't cope, and that child took their own life.
Oh, God.
And that was down to not being told no when they were a child.
That's terribly sad,
Susan. Everything was
Susan.
given them to them. It's heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. Was never told no, was spoiled rotten, and the first time no happened, the child couldn't cope with it. As an almost 17-year-old, couldn't cope with the no and took their own life.
It's an important point, actually, Susan. That's terribly tragic, but it is an important point to remember that. I mean, it's when you're raising kids, everything is sort of a learning moment, and it's a great responsibility to be a parent. And you have an opportunity at Christmas, especially, to show that, you know, the world isn't always going to just throw things at you for free.
And that's the thing. That's why I tell my kids that I have to pay Santi.
Yeah.
I just say it's my money that gets this. And then I say, oh, I'll give them extra to get a few surprises. But, you know, the surprises aren't ever big. As that other lady said, there could be something off Temu. You know, it doesn't have to, you don't have to spend loads of money. And I always tell the kids, Christmas Day is my favourite day. And they always say, why do you not get any presents off Santi? I just say, because what Santi brings me is something that he can't actually give me. I say, you need to give it to me because I want peace, I want quiet, and I want all my family around me to be happy. That's what I want. And of course, they always laugh and think this is hysterical. But the older tree gets that.
Yeah, I know.
now
I agree with
that
you, Susan.
I just want everyone to be happy, and I just want my family to be together, and I don't want arguments, and I want everyone to be healthy. There's nothing I could possibly want more than that in the world. So I don't. And I know my sisters to be like, oh, no, Santi brings me a little something. I say, no, I purposely don't get anything because I want them to see I don't need anything because I have everything I have. I have everything I'll ever need.
Well, that's a lovely thought, Susan. I want you to stay with me because that kind of leads into what Marion is going to say. Marion, you're very welcome to the programme. You believe the gift. You believe the gift of time is more important, just like Susan just said.
I believe it is. Yes, I will say for argument's sake, they're never going to remember what they got any particular year when it comes to a present, but they will remember a time that they went with a parent or maybe an uncle and aunt, to a show, or maybe to McDonald's for the day, something like that. They'll always remember those things, and that time is time you'll never get back.
So there's more important things than presents.
Oh, there is. Like, Christmas basically is supposed to be about family and being together. And like, as I was saying to your researcher there, my husband now, he's got a lot of grandnieces and nephews. Now, to be fair, do we want to pick him up crap cheaply? Because he doesn't want to spend fortune on them, you know what I mean? So the best thing is they'll all go to McDonald's with him, and they love hanging out with him, which is a huge bonus. If there was something good on at the pictures, he'd possibly take them there as well. Yeah. And but it'll mean that each child will always remember that.
Yeah, no, it's a lovely idea.
Special.
It's a lovely idea, for sure.
But you see, parents forget time with their kids, and even for other relatives. That time, especially when they're young and they do believe in Santa Claus, it's time they'll never get back. Now, I remember my own son, when he believed in Santa, we used to tell him, look, Santa is looking after all the kids in the world, so you can't be greedy, right?
Yeah.
You have to be very careful about what you want, I said, and leave it at that. I said, no chopping and changing now, because it's not fair. They'd have to do all this work. So that was grand until it came to the time when he no longer believed in Santa. And he said, well, Santa has all those kids in the world, Mammy, but you and Daddy only have me.
Oh.
Yeah, backfired.
That's lovely.
You know?
Do you think we're losing that spirit at Christmas, and we're just trying to buy affection by buying all these big gifts, and just thinking that that's going to make the family happier?
Well, like, if they're not happy, then big gifts are not going to make them happier at the end of the day. They're just things. They're materialistic things. And now, I do remember my sister-in-law, her sisters came over from Finland. They were only young at the time, but they have this thing, it's about quantity of presents, right?
Yeah.
And what we did, they got underwear, they didn't get anything elaborate now. They got underwear, socks, maybe hair things and everything else. The only thing was, we had a wrapping party because everything was being wrapped individually.
Oh my God.
So we got a 5 sets of pants for a girl. Each one was wrapped individually.
You're joking, Marion. If anyone from the Green Party is listening in, it was recyclable paper, right? Wasn't it?
I don't even know if it was there then. Like, I'm going back about 15 years now.
Good Lord. Every single piece.
Everything would be wrapped individually. At least they can go home then and say they got 50 presents. They don't have to say that, okay, 5 of those were knickers, 5 were vests, socks and this kind of thing. That didn't matter. So, they'd rather a load of different ones as opposed to one big one.
Yeah. Well, different cultures have different ways of doing things. It looks like we've gone down the American route, Susan. What do you think? It looks like we're going down that bigger is better and more is more.
You know what? It depends on the person and the family. Not everyone is like that. I have one child. She's 9 now, but every year for the last 3 years, one of her main presents, her main thing, she'll say, I want Panto tickets. And she'll say, I want enough to bring you and then her younger sister and her cousin. Now, as a result, the cousin now gets a Panto ticket to Santi. And that means so much to her because it's her favourite thing at Christmas. is for us to go, and Daddy's not allowed to go because he's boring and he doesn't like panto. So she knows what she wants, a day out with her mum and her sister and her cousin, and we'll go get something to eat. It means the world to her. My own mother, when she was alive, I used to buy her tickets for something, and me and her would go, and she used to say, oh my God, this is the best present. So time with people is more than anything. And you know what my kids' favourite thing about Christmas is? It's this stupid bloody elf that will arrive on the 10th of December, 2 weeks before Christmas, and they think he's hilarious because he wrecks the house and he does all these crazy things. That's what they love, and that doesn't cost a penny to do that.
That's kind of what Marion was saying. Experiences are much better than presents.
Totally. Yeah, but when I think back to my childhood, at Christmas, I always brings me back to my granny's house and the Christmas songs and everybody sitting around singing them and sitting by the fire and melting the lino with the poker where no one could see me in the corner. And that was what made me happy. And I don't think about everything I got. I always think about the people I was with and how much I loved them and how happy I was.
Well, do you know what, Susan? That's true, because I think about my favourite Christmases growing up. I lost my mother and father in the last few years, and I just think of them, and I think of my family, my Uncle Jim, my Auntie Anne, my Auntie Eileen, and my brother David, and my cousins Caroline, Susie, John, hanging out, drinking, being together. That was. I can't even remember half the. One of my cousins just texted me actually and said, I didn't know that desk was your favourite. I thought it was a WrestleMania ring. I don't even know what my favourite gift was, because it's the memories is what stays with you. It's not the stuff.
And that is. Yeah, it really is what it's all about.
Sean, you want to make a point there?
Sorry, Gary, I just wanted to say this to you. You see, we all have very great memories, but the kids these days, and I'm sorry to say it, they're spoiled little fuckers, and the parents are doing, and they're going beyond what they're doing for the kids, and they're getting themselves into debt. They're buying the PlayStation 5s, they're buying this, they're buying that, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're getting loans off credit unions that, and, it's absolutely horrible what they're doing, because they are getting themselves into that.
And they're making their own lives harder ultimately. I mean, they're not doing anyone any favours.
Not at all, because they need to pay that money back, And, the credit unions there, I see the ads on the credit unions, oh, you got a Christmas loan now, this, that, the other. But, we're all older, but I see the younger crowd, and they're dependent on the credit unions, they're dependent on the banks, and they're going to get loans, and, they're going well beyond their means, as I'd say, Gary, to make their Christmas. But there's no need to do this, If you have a good kid, or the good kids, you don't need to do this. But everybody's out doing each other now, Gary. Everybody. I can see this. I can see this with friends. I can see this. And they're out doing, yeah.
What's that, Susan? Susan, what did you say, Susan? Go ahead.
I said everybody's watching everybody. And that's
absolutely, Susan. Absolutely, Susan. You're 100%. Yeah, and I totally agree with you. Because, when it comes Christmas Eve, or it comes Christmas Day, you see it all over Facebook. Oh, my John got this, and he got this, and he got that. Yes, Susan, you're 100%, because you see it every Christmas, and it's absolutely disgraceful. It is.
But is that the parents not just posting?
The parents are posting, Marion, yeah. Yeah, that's who's putting it up.
That's the parents posting. That's for them. But the problem that they're forgetting is, the bigger the present this year, how are they going to outdo it next year?
Yeah. It gets bigger every year, doesn't it?
100%. Yes. It's the parents that are arseholes. And they are arseholes.
What happened?
I'm going to call them arseholes.
What happened? The whole thing that it was a surprise from Santa.
Yeah.
That I remember that as a kid. It was a surprise from Santa. You didn't know what you were getting.
You didn't know what at all. It might be nothing.
Yeah, it was a surprise.
If you were bold, you'd be getting a bit of coal, Marion, wasn't it? Listen, I'm going to...
Sure it is. If I remember correctly, I saw the turf.
There you go. Listen, you're after the greens again, Marion. What do you like?
Well, in all fairness, the best piece comes out of it, in all fairness.
Marion, where did I do?
Bernie, I have you on line 1. Making memories, no presents. That's your motto, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's mine. I come from a large family, and we grew up in the 60s and 70s, and I think maybe one or two may have been in the 80s. And I remember it being a time of family. We never worried about a list. We just knew that this man was going to come for Christmas, and the front room was locked, and whatever presents you were going to get, whatever my mum or dad could afford, was in there. But we never had a list. It was just the excitement of being off from school, the cold weather, and having the dinner, and meeting your friends out on the road, and having that time, that precious time with them. And maybe an aunt might run by. There was never any issue about you'd make a list. It was kind of the tradition, but it was a very basic, on pencils for school, or you wanted maybe a doll or maybe a pram, and if they could stretch that far. There was never any why didn't I get it? You meant that you didn't get it. You never asked why. Maybe I was bold or I did something, and you just was that innocent.
So we've lost that innocence, Bernie, do you think?
Absolutely. I'm here freaking out going, geez, will I have enough to cover all the grant? Yeah, I want to be equal and fair, so I'm trying to, rationalise it. I do everything the other 364 days of the year, and I do my best for them anyway. And my kids are great. They don't expect anything big. If they were buying, say, if they told me in advance maybe that they were looking for something, I would try and say, well, look, I'll get that for you for Christmas.
Yeah.
For my grandkids, I try and be equal with all of them, and some of them are teenagers now and they just want money, and the younger ones then I try and buy maybe a jumper or something small, and maybe a gift for 10, 15, 20 years. I try to be realistic to my budget.
It's hard though, Bernie, isn't it? Because not many things are 10, 15, 20 euro, are they?
No, there isn't. I'm lucky that the smallies won't be looking for much,
Yeah.
The teenagers, they much prefer to come up here and have something to eat with you, or, if they're at drinking age, maybe to go out for a drink, maybe go for a pint with them, maybe, or something like that. I don't know, Gary, but I just think we've gone way over the top. It's time of family, and, the fight, yourself, there was always a Christmas row with your brother or your sister because you got sick of them after a day or two.
Yeah.
But that was part and parcel of it. It was cold, and it's gone so, you went to midnight mass, as a teenager, you went down the back and you thought you were great hanging out with your friends. That's all gone. There was no buses. All the taxis were gone. The pubs closed at, I think it was 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock on Christmas Eve. And you had the time to yourself to be a child, to be a person.
Yeah, there's no doubt Christmas has changed. There's no doubt about it. It's gotten busier and it's gotten more of a headache for people, I think. And, it was always a challenge. There's no doubt about it, with the family all coming around and, as you said, the odd argument here and there. But it just seems to me that it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And one of the callers there made a good point. It's like, where do you stop and how do you row it back? If one year you give your kids presents worth thousands of euro and the next year they get, say, as you said, pencils, they're not going to be happy, are they?
But again, it's all perception, and are they going to be disappointed? Why are we afraid that they're going to be disappointed? You're giving them 364 days. You're bringing them on holidays. You're buying them stuff for school. We're making it. No, it's not the child. It's us.
Yeah, it's the parents' fault.
It's our fault, because we have this such a, I'm working now. Oh God, I should show that I can provide for my children. I have to give them the best. You don't. Give them your love and some time. Isn't that the most precious thing at the moment? So many parents have no time with their family. They're literally dropping a child to creche in the morning, putting them in the back of the car, bringing them home, shoving food in their mouths, love you, put you in the bath and bed. What would be wrong with having just the time?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. The modern life is when you really drill down or stand back from it a little bit, you say to yourself, are we even spending any time together? Because people are running around, as you said, just trying to get the dinner on the table, get to bed, get up, go to work. And yourself, every day sort of starts to look like the other one. Stay with me, Bernie. I've got Jennifer online too. What do you think? You think we're giving our kids too much at Christmas?
I think so, Gary, yeah. Because, when I was born in 1980, right? And Christmas time, your brothers always got, the army dolls and, the army figures and the tanks now. And the girls always got their little proms and their bikes, and your mum always dressed up in their little red dresses and their little hoods. Now it's you don't even see any kids now going out on the streets because it's all PlayStation. everywhere you go, even a baby in a buggy at 2 years of age, they're stuck on their phones or they're stuck on the iPads. Like, do you know what I mean? It's absolutely disgraceful. Like, I'm a mother of 4, and my youngest now, she's 11, and she's actually still into our little Barbie dolls. And now they're actually laughing at her in school because they were like, "Oh, you're still playing with Barbie dolls." I refuse to give her a phone. Like, do you know what I mean?
You think she's too young for a phone at 11?
Yeah.
I'd agree with you.
I think because the phones are too dangerous for kids these days. Do you know what I mean? And like even their sisters have a phone each, but now their sisters are 12 and 16, and come 8:30 at night, and they give me their phones, and there's no answering back to me. Like, do you know what I mean? And I usually buy them, and the agreement in my house, Gary, is I buy them presents for their birthdays and Christmas, and that's it.
That's it.
And that's the way it always has been in my house.
And do you know what you're buying them for this Christmas, Jennifer? You can't say it on the radio, but...
No. Well, one of them is actually asking for a gaming chair. And my eldest now, she's actually asking for a telly. And my other one is asking for earbuds. And that's it.
And that'll
and
be...
then the baby then obviously she's asking for Barbie dolls.
That's lovely.
And that's what's on their list, like, and that's what they be getting, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't believe in going out and spending, like, I was even in Smith, and you should even see the trolleys full of stuff what people are coming out in. And I even remember my girls, and some of them their toys will be still in boxes a year later, sitting in boxes, and they weren't even open.
That's very true. I made that point earlier on. I've seen plenty of toys being thrown out after Christmas, and it just seems so bloody wasteful, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I always taught them from a young age. I said, no. You'll get one stuff, and then you just put your medium present on it. It's like their nanny and granddad now. It's like their nanny and granddad says, we'll cut you down to 3 presents, and she'll get them 3 presents each. But there's no discrimination saying, oh, well, you got this and you got that. They all get treated equal in my house. Do you know what I mean?
And will they be happy, Jennifer? You know your kid's better than anyone else. Like, you're confident Christmas morning's going to go off without a hitch with what you're going to be buying them.
And she's 16, and she's actually asking for a gaming chair, and that's all she wants is a gaming chair. And my other one now, she's 13, and all she wants is the earbuds, and that's it. And obviously then the baby, she wants Barbie dolls, and they're happy enough with that because they know they have to respect in the house, like, you know, that way.
Yeah, and do you see other families in your community or even in your family that go over the top at Christmas?
Oh my God, yeah, like one of my friends now, she goes out now and like because her son wants an Xbox 5, she paid nearly €600 for the Xbox, and I said, and I wouldn't mind, there's PlayStation, there's Xboxes and all in that house. Oh, she was like, oh no. And then, you know, the new jackets out, some boys' jackets are out now. Oh, God, he has to get one of them as well. And, you know, the runners, the X500s or something like that.
These are all pricey, aren't they, Jennifer? They're not cheap.
Oh, I'm telling you. Yeah. And then here you go again, because my 2 kids are in secondary school. And secondary school is not cheap neither, like, you know. Their iPads, their uniforms, and everything counts at the end of the day. Like,
do you think social media plays a part in this? Because kids are seeing things online and they just want them. Because I mean, we're absolutely a commercial society. I mean, I open up my social media and I'm bombarded with, as you said, new runners, new jackets, brand names, new technology, watches, earbuds, everything. It's really difficult for parents to keep kids away from that.
Oh, stop, yeah. And that's why, like, my eldest now, she's 16, and she's not allowed Facebook. I would never allow her on Facebook or TikTok or anything like that. And the only thing she has on her phone is WhatsApp, and then they don't realise I actually go in at night time and I check their phones every time.
Yeah. Bernie, what do you make of that? Bernie, what do you make of that? It's a brave new world, what Jennifer is talking about.
Well, fair dues to Jennifer. She seems to have got it sorted with her kids. Like, it is there's so much. I mean, look at we've been looking at ads for Christmas since Halloween. Like they've now mixed them all together.
Yeah.
So you don't know what time of the year. You know, we need to go back to the people who are making these ads and all this stuff, and they have to stop. Like, they're ruining the world the way they're going on. Absolutely destroyed. And it's so hard to kind of tell your child, we actually can't have that.
Yeah, no, it's a good point.
That to a child?
Yeah, and like Jennifer just said, I mean, like you've got other expenses during the year. You've got obviously school costs money and holidays and things like that. But then you get to Halloween and you have to fork out for costumes, you have to fork out for decorations and sweets and all sorts of things. And then straight away that night, boom, Christmas. Ads everywhere, all over social media, television, everything.
And, you know, like, I mean, we see all the ads, they're so hell bent on, they never tell you the price of anything, it's just you need to have it.
Yeah.
You know, go into Harvey Norman, I don't mean to be bad, you know, Harvey Norman has this, so-and-so has that, Dunn's has that, Lidl has this, I mean, your brain would explode, our mind does explode. I mean, the ads have extended from, remember years ago they were 3 minutes or 2 minutes long, now it seems to be 7 and 8 minutes, and every time you turn on one station, every other station has ads now, except for BBC One. It's the only one you won't get an ad on. But it's depressing at this stage. Between posters outside your door now, vote for any A, B, or C, or D, and then you go in and you watch the TV, and there's an ad for something for Christmas that your child can't do without. You know, it's gone ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I hear you, Bernie. I hear you for sure. And Jennifer, Jennifer, when you were growing up, you had a similar experience, didn't you? You just got one present and it was the thing you wanted. And sometimes you didn't even get that.
Yeah, and do you know what? I have to be honest with you. Do you know what I loved? I loved when your mum and dad called you down at, say, 5:30 or 6 in the morning, and your mum and dad would stand at the bottom of the stairs and they say, "Oh, Sandy's after coming." And that was your highlight, of to run down that stairs and see. And you know what? It was your pram and it was your doll, and your mum would actually have you out in your little red dress and your little red coat, and you'd be the happiest child ever, walking up and down your street for hours, playing with your doll.
Well, two things I'll say to that is fair play to you for not getting up before your parents, because most kids are there waking their parents up on Christmas morning. But the second thing I want to ask is, have we lost the magic of Christmas?
I think so, yeah, because like, and at the end of the day, everything goes back to your childhood. Like we all had great memories of childhood, right? But now, when you're bringing kids into the world, their childhood is looking at a device in a pram at like 2 and 3 years of age, because the child is giving out and crying, and that's how so much their technology. Whereas I would have never allowed that in my house.
Bernie, what do you make of kids having technology, like kids in buggies and 5-year-olds having iPads?
It's a sad reflection on the world that we've now turned to AI, or whatever they call them, technology, to rear our children. That's what we're doing. We're distracting our children from the thing that we should be doing ourselves.
Well,
into the world.
Yeah, it's true. Christmas morning in my estate growing up, all the kids were out on bikes or, you know, playing with some football that they got, or whatever it was they got off Santa. Christmas morning now, you could hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
They're all inside playing. They're playing games and they're watching television, and it's almost like they're not even talking to each other. And it goes to the point of what people have been saying all night, which seems to be a recurring theme, is that we don't spend enough time together, and at Christmas we really need to do that. And instead, you know, one kid is up in the room on the iPad, the other kid's on the PlayStation. The mum and dad are getting busy with the dinner and all that, and nobody's actually talking to each other.
Yeah, and like again, the dinner is like once the dinner is over, that's it for another year. It's literally over. Thank God, you know, we've done it. That's it. You know, maybe a few drinks and sit and watch some movie, and that's it. I mean, there's no. It's nearly nerve-wracking now at this stage. You know, you want to get over it now, and it's really sad. I was the biggest Christmas person on the planet. Like, Christmas Eve to me was magical. Yeah. Between peeling the Brussels sprouts, potatoes, getting the room sorted, getting the tree redecorated, because they probably knocked it down 300 times, packing the little presents you had, and couldn't wait for the first one to wake up so you could rush in.
Yeah.
It was the most, and you'd have everything, as much of the dinner ready at night. That Christmas Eve was magical to me.
Well, I always remember my mum getting the ham ready, and sure, she'd been working on the puddings for 3 weeks. they were about ready by Christmas Eve.
But I mean, what's wrong? What was wrong with that, Gary? Like, what was wrong with that life that we all had?
Brilliant. It was brilliant.
Great. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. It was brilliant as kids.
Can we not see that coming back? Can we not get some way of bringing it back?
You'd love to think so, wouldn't you? I'd say there's some people out there that do have it. I mean, we were talking to Susan before the news, and she sounds like she's got a pretty good hold on Christmas in her household, so it's still alive there.
Oh, please God. I know the more we can hold on to it, the better.
Yeah. You wanted to say something, Jennifer?
Yeah, like it is, because like going back as you were a kid, you have great memories of Christmas, and it was brilliant. Like when like your mum and dad was looking after you, and you'd be getting your bath, and you'd be doing all that on Christmas Eve. You'd be going out to Christmas night mass, and you'd be singing, and you'd be dancing, and you'd be walking out and holding your hands with your brothers. Like it was great times back then. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Only good memories. Bernie, where are you spending Christmas?
Well, I'm going to the first swim on Christmas morning with my kids. And
You're not, are you?
Yeah.
You'd be frozen.
It's a tradition now. Oh, you do. But you have a hot whiskey when you come out.
Sure, listen. Why not then? If you have to do that for the whiskey.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it. One of my daughters I'm going to go to, but I'll go to one for breakfast. We'll all meet up and have breakfast with one, and then go for dinner somewhere else with one of the other ones.
Lovely. That sounds like a nice day.
Yeah.
And Jennifer, what are your plans for Christmas Day?
Oh, I'm going over to Mum and Dad's, and and that's the tradition. We all stay in Mum and Dad's now on Christmas night, and then I usually come home Stephen's Day. And now, this is my first time ever cooking Christmas dinner on Stephen's Day. I've never cooked a Christmas dinner ever before in my life.
Oh, well, I hope you have a backup plan.
Pizzas.
Hopefully, I'll carry,
Oh, you have good training. You'll be great.
You'll be fine, Jennifer. You can text me. I love cooking. If I can help you on Christmas Day, I will. You can text me.
Listen, I'll have you on standby in anyway. Are you near to standby any chance, Gary?
That would be a different kind of Christmas. Where did you spend Christmas? Well, Jennifer used to call into nighttime talk, and I went over to cook dinner for her and the family. It was great.
That's it.
You wouldn't believe what I saw when I got in there. There was a turkey stuffed with a Barbie, but I fixed it.
Yeah. What are you doing there, Gary, for Christmas yourself?
I'll be spending Christmas with my girlfriend in the house. And I'll cook all day, and she'll be nice and cosy, and we'll watch some movies and relax. And I might just pop down to my auntie and uncles and see them, and my auntie Eileen, who goes to visit them, and have a drink with them. And that'll be my Christmas, and I love every second of it.
Well, listen, have a great time.
Yeah, and I want both of you to have a brilliant Christmas. And
thank you so much.
And lovely speaking to you now, Gary, and very good.
Lovely chatting to you guys. I'll see you Christmas Day, Jennifer. All right, good night, guys.
What time is that now, Gary? No, I can't hold you to a time now, Gary,
I'll get AJ to get back to you on that one. All right.
Listen, Gary, there's such thing as open relationships, by the way.
Oh, be the holy God. And just when, and we were on such a lovely note for Christmas. And then you come in with that clanger, Jennifer. I'll run it by the missus when I get home. Go on, good luck, good night to you. Merry Christmas.
Goodbye now.
Good night.
Good night. Well, there you have it. Christmas time. Are we spending too much money on our kids? Seems that we are.
Now, real people, real opinions. Nighttime Talk.
Ireland's classic hits radio.